Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be checking out Wonder Woman issue 12 by Tom King and Tony S. Daniel. After narrowly escaping an attack from Paradise Lost in Washington, Wonder Woman begins her newest mission, finding Amanda Waller's secret base so the world's superheroes can prepare a counterattack. For that, she has joined forces with Damian Wayne's Robin to interrogate Captain Boomerang, who has information on Waller's whereabouts. As usual, when a hero works with Damian, they often come into conflict with how he deals with threats, and Diana is no different. And Diana doesn't really like how he's interrogating Digger, who's being road-hauled by the invisible jet when we open the issue. I really like that Diana wants to appeal to his true nature and would rather use words than violence, but Damian believes that rogues only understand violence, so he must use that to make him talk. I think it's quite neat that they're using Diana's role as an ambassador here, and it's being put into practice. She's not there to start fights, but to solve them and solve tough issues. Diana gets a chance to interrogate Digger after Robin's road hauling doesn't work and decides to take him to a restaurant, hoping to ply him with some good food in the hopes that he will talk. Boomerang doesn't want to hear any of what the heroes have to offer and ends up trying to attack Diana with a hidden boomerang, but of course she easily beats the villain down, meaning it's then Robin's turn to interrogate Boomerang again. So something I found beginning to kind of wear thin on me is how King writes Wonder Woman's speech pattern. He writes it very similar to how they do Thor, whereas Thor it kind of makes sense. He's, an Asgardian, he's very much separated from the world, so he's very Shakespearean in his language, and they've been trying to do this with Wonder Woman for some time now, but when it's with Wonder Woman it comes off like they don't realize that she's existed in man's world for decades, so of course she's going to pick up on the lingo of people and things around her, so she wouldn't call, like in this issue she calls a waitress a stewardess or a steward, and instead of saying a piece of steak she says a slice of meat for me and my friends. Stuff like that really annoys me because it makes it feel like they're writing her as a foreign character in this world when she's not. It's cool to do when, this is like a story dealing with her origins, it's her first time in man's world. But as I said, she's existed in man's world for a very long time, so she would pick up on the lingo, and the writing goes back and forth on it where, some of her writing feels very modern, and then you have stuff like this. It's very like sort of pick and choose, and I don't like that. It's not very consistent. So now that it's Robin's turn to interrogate him, Boomerang is hung over a cliff where a group of hungry sharks wait to feast on the villain. I've got to give it to Boomerang, he wouldn't break at all, which is quite surprising since usually when, the rogues are interrogated, he's like the first or one of the first to break. But here he's not saying anything, and I guess that goes to show like the intimidation of Waller, and he knows what Waller is like. He's been around her for a very long time, so he knows exactly what it would be like if he betrayed her, so I could see where he's coming from, but it's just really funny seeing Digger just not turning on the villains in a second. Robin finds that they're not getting anywhere with the villain, so he cuts the rope, prompting him to fall into the water, but Wonder Woman ends up diving in after him and saving him off panel. The heroes decide then to switch up tactics, and Diana takes Digger to see his son Owen, hoping to give them a chance to patch things up between each other. Diana's plan doesn't really work out, and it's not Digger's fault this time actually, in a nice twist. He's actually the one who wants to patch things up and wants to do the right thing, but Owen doesn't want to hear it, leading to a fist fight between father and son. I did like that Diana tried to bond with Damian during this time as well, much like how Digger was bonding with his son, with Diana trying to get to know the boy a little bit more and why he doesn't find things like love to be a practical thing in life. And it's the classic hopeful character versus the cynic, and it's something I always love to see. After Wonder Woman breaks up Owen and Digger's fight, Robin ties Boomerang up again and threatens to beat him with a bat, but Wonder Woman says that such violent behavior is unbecoming of a member of the Bat family, and she's right. Batman would never do something like this, and Robin hits a bit of a turning point here when he tosses the bat aside and actually ends up breaking down in tears, telling Diana that he isn't Batman, he isn't like his father, and she wouldn't understand, but Diana actually does. She actually does get where he's coming from in this, and she ends up getting her chance to talk with Boomerang again, and she ends up telling him a story about If heroes like Superman were taken away by Waller like she wants to do, then the next crisis or extinction level event won't be able to be held back, and the skies will empty of people who can prevent them. And if that happens, then they all die. This is one of the strengths of Diana I really like. She can see the good in almost everyone, knowing that it does exist in Digger, and he's used it before. He's saved the world before, multiple times actually. She wants to bring that out in him again, and just when you think he's going to give it up, he cracks a joke and refuses to give it up. And it actually ends up frustrating Diana so much that she just kicks the shit out of him, quipping that sometimes love does hurt. I quite like that. I felt like that was a very Wonder Woman-like moment. She's very frustrated now that her way is not working somehow with this guy just because he's too thick, he's too stupid. I really like that. I thought that was genius. The heroes then tie Boomerang up with another rope and dangling above the sewers, intending on feeding him to Killer Croc and other various large sewer crocodiles, but Boomerang is aware of the heroes and how they will never do any serious harm to him thanks to their no-kill codes. So he then just blurts out where Waller is hiding on the island of Gamora, a location that Robin knows well thanks to having been there with Superman. And I like that Wonder Woman admits that it was just stupidity, not something like fear or love, both of things which Robin and Wonder Woman were trying to use to get the information of Waller's location from Boomerang that won the day. And it's very fitting, and this is the Boomerang I know, and I'm pretty impressed with how King wrote him across the issue, really taking him through the different roles he's played throughout the years before ending him on the role he is most depicted as, someone who's just kind of an idiot. Wonder Woman issue 12 was leagues better than the last tie-in, being that this story feels like it was actually written by someone who actually wanted to be part of Absolute Power, and not someone who was contractually obligated to be writing a tie-in for the event. The Wonder Woman Robin dynamic was really fun, albeit a few character nitpicks that I've had with all of King's work up until now, but I'm pretty eager to see how he rounds it out, since Diana's role in this is not a small one, it's a very important one. She's literally freeing all of the heroes on Earth to help fight Waller, and hopefully King can stick the landing before getting back to his regularly scheduled Wonder Woman stories. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10.